So guys, today we talk about revenue context. We talk about quotes, contract, invoices, renewals, the money part of HubSpot. Not so sexy as go-to-market or outbound. If we would do an outbound webinar, maybe we will have hundreds of people. But when we do revenue context, it's when actually the people that matter join and watch this, because those are the people who manage revenue. And this is something super exciting for us because we want to show you exactly how it can be done in B2B SaaS, B2B companies, enterprise companies. So before we even get started, make sure you are hydrated. Yeah, so water in, I suppose, everyone. Przemek, you have the coffee or the tea, or
Tea, my friends,
also, I hope so, he will come back. So just get hydrated, all of you. And just wondering, there will be an option. We will give you everything. Don't worry. Everyone will get everything, all the slides and all of that. Hubert is also joining. Hubert, I hope you are hydrated. And actually, I wonder how hydrated you are. Here it's a poll. Let's put it in. Like, I am melting, but let's see, everyone. Przemek, what about you? Let's vote. Let's see who needs winter.
I don't see a poll. Is it just for audience, right?
Yes, maybe. But tell us, are you melting? You had a bunch of water, or you need winter? That's the...
I'm like, if there's a edge moment when the cold gets into water, I'm in that moment.
Jakub, you had a lot of water. You're ready to rock and roll? You're muted, my friend.
Silence is gold.
So here is the result. So people are actually having a lot of water. That's good. So few things about the agenda. Intro part, this part, right? Then we go into presentation on CPQ, billing, payments, and HubSpot. Then we do a demo. Then I show you a public roadmap, Q&A, and you can go to enjoy the sun. Easy peasy. If you have questions, I will monitor it. So just put it in here. You can use this with the QA, and people can vote for your questions. So just go to the QA, and you are able to text or put question. Just testing, Jakub, are you good with the mic? No, you are muted. You need to unmute yourself. Okay, so who is talking? Jakub, when he solves his mic. Przemek, he solves his mic. And me. That's basically, I'm just doing intros here. Now, who is Man Digital? We are HubSpot Elite Partner, triple accredited, onboarding, custom integration, and CRM implementation. We specialize in quote to cash and software industry expertise. So that's our, we are really good at that, and HubSpot actually awarded for that. Now, let's see here. Jakub, I added you to the stream. It was my bad. I had just to click plus on your beautiful face. That was the trick.
Okay. So yes, that's why it was not working.
Exactly. I'm sorry. So let's see, where does Revenue Hub sit in the bow tie? I hope all of you know this bow tie, but from what we see in the features, obviously it's at commit. It's an adoption, maybe and expansion. We will talk a little bit about both, so we are all good. Now, before we even start to look into this, I have a little bit more questions just to figure out who we have in the audience. So now, the big question is if you are using actually HubSpot. That's the big question. Are you using HubSpot? Yes, not yet. I wish. Nah, I'm here randomly. So let's get to voting a little bit so we understand who is using it or not. Okay, good. So I can see that 22 people, votes are still coming in, but we are majority use it. The ones that don't use it will use it in the future, hopefully. And nobody's here randomly, which is great, Now, the next question for us is just to understand a bit how you are doing today proposals. So Google Docs, baby, the old good way to do it. Sometimes for some companies, just make the Google Docs. You can just email the clients and that's it. That's also a way to do it. This is what we do. This is the price. Panda Doc and obviously some other way. Let's see it. And my courier comes exactly when I don't need it. Great. Okay, so we have a mix. Some other way is the majority. Cool.
Google Sheets.
We will see. Exactly. Google Sheets. Now let's just start going into the presentation, and in the end we will have some more questions. Thanks a lot for all of you answering. So you can I can stop this pool 1 sec and put in the slides. Here is the slides and the pool. Let me see how I 1 sec. I got stuck into this here. Okay, there you go. There you go. You can take it on, Przemek.
Okie dokie. Hello, guys. Awesome to be with you. So it's interesting that you are actually doing a lot of, probably it's not clear exactly what proposal means, right? Because proposal is one thing, then quote for the signing can be another thing. So I wonder what actually you thought about. And fun fact is that for quite some time, I recently watched the CEO interview with CEO of InPost, so Rafał Brzostka, and he said that for almost 5 or 7 years, even 10 years into the InPost company, he was still sending invoices via an Excel file to a customer. So yeah, things can get really simple for quite a long time, and it doesn't matter you need it for growing the company, but I think it can help a lot if things are simpler. So today, and we will talk about the CPQ billing and payment software in HubSpot. So let's start with how the things looked like in the past. So generally before, most of the customers that we also faced had a process where sales was living inside HubSpot and a CRM, and it was quite straightforward, right? But the problem started to happen when you needed to hand over it to the finance or customer success for a contracts management, changes, amendments. So it wasn't that simple and clean inside HubSpot, and oftentimes you had different subscription systems as well, or billing systems that you connected with HubSpot, or you didn't connect it at all, and HubSpot was just a mostly CRM. Now things change because Revenue Hub really want to connect the entire process to have a wholesaling, customer success, billing, and reporting on your financial and forecasting your, especially in SaaS businesses, MRR, NRR, and ARR in one place. So this is what we're gonna talk about. By so far, it was quite fragmented. So you had different systems for different things like billing, payments, customer success, sales, and marketing, and we don't want that because it creates some kind of consequences. Sometimes sales can lose a deal when there is a no quoting process or proposal process that is easy because time kills deals. Customer success usually had an issue that they didn't have a context what happened before in terms of a contract, deals, changes, renewal. So there was quite of a nice situation there, especially in HubSpot. And also when it comes to the finance, a lot of data need to be reconciled manually. So when you wanted to actually forecast your revenue, you closed the deal and you wanted to forecast your revenue or MRR across months. In HubSpot had this functionality of MRR tracking, but it was quite limited. It required enterprise and wasn't that nice. And when it comes to the billing, invoicing, and everything, a lot of workarounds, custom solutions needed to be done to actually manage these cycles. And at the end, it resulted in us RevOps just fighting all the integrations, connecting the data, and making sure that it's all correct between the systems. So it was quite a big of a pain. And now what HubSpot is actually striving for is just to make the entire process from the first moment to the end of client lifecycle in one place. So just to repeat, right? The situation in the past was that you had a lead, you had a deal, you signed a quote, and oftentimes things got disconnected a bit, right? The ERP system was somewhere, you needed to renew or cross-sell your contract, but you needed to somehow find the contract, and it was not easy. You needed to connect it with the initial deal that you closed. A lot of shenanigans had to happen, and it wasn't that really clean. So what HubSpot now is doing with the new Revenue Hub is that you would have the entire flow from the first step to the last step inside HubSpot. So what do we mean by the entire flow? You have a lead, you have a deal, you sign a quote based on this deal. Then there will be such a event like an order. Order will be basically pushing the data from a quote line item. So it will be something that you can send to your ERP system or whatever else place, and it's also pushed to a contract. So it's an order what exactly customer have purchased with you. Then you would have a system, a new object called contract that would hold the entire data based on the quotes that were signed and pushed as an order to the contract. And you would have all the subscription data in one place under the contract. And what you would be also able to do is you would have a billing schedule inside this contract, so we can bill automatically via invoicing. Currently, HubSpot has a native integration with Xera and QuickBooks, so that's the most, the most like an elegant solution. And it also has integration with Stripe to collect those payments. So you can automatically collect the payments that would be feedback into the contract that something was eventually billed based on the contract schedule. And you can also renew, cross-sell, and upsell. And how I'm going to explain you, and in the demo Jacob will show you, you will actually be able to do it from the contract perspective. So you will not have a detached deals that are flowing around connected to initial deal. It will all be integrated around the contract. Today, guys, we will focus mostly on the deals, quotes, and contracts. Because
One second, Przemek.
Go for it.
1 second. Because we would love to understand a bit what is and how you connect, guys, this whole system. So just put in how many of you have all the system connected so you can see the full revenue context, right? 2 options. We are the winners, yeah, or nah, with the eyes, rolling, a little bit confused. So let's see. Vote in just for us to see and understand. So there are some winners. Woohoo! Good. There are some winners. That's great. That's good. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. Good. That's a good thing. We would love to understand how you guys do it later on in the QA, or drop it into the chat just to, we can learn from each other. Great. Thank you. We can go on. Continue, Mr. Przemek.
Awesome. The interaction breaks. That's good. So you guys can also tell potentially what kind of tools do you use, right? What kind of stitching do you manage? You use some separate tools like ChargeBee for subscription, for customer success management. Maybe you use some different tools. Please name them in the chat, because that's also interesting, right? Some people also use, it's not that common in Poland because it's quite expensive, the Deal Hub, because Deal Hub was much more advanced CPQ tool than HubSpot before. Now HubSpot is catching up. Guys, write something, because if you will not write the tools, I would continuously try to overtalk it until the moment you write something. So if you're going to go next slide, you need to write the tools. Okay. Recurly plus Braintree. Okay, for the payments.
There are also, in Poland.
Aha, I didn't see it, maybe.
Yeah. ChartMogul. Okay. Yeah, nice tool for SaaS. Good, we know that.
We had a guest from ChartMogul, right? On one of our events.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, thank you, guys. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening, right? You need to have those additional systems to eventually manage it. And this is what HubSpot is trying to solve, to put everything in one place to manage it all. So this is basically what we would be focusing during this presentation. And Jacob would show you exactly the demo, how the deals, quotes, contracts look like, how is it reconstructed. We will not go super deep into payments, stripes, and billing systems. Because it will be probably a different discussion that we can have. But if you would have questions,
we will have another webinar somewhere in September with the guys from Revenue Hub, also our team, and we will talk more about the billing, the renewal, the cross-selling and upselling, because that's something also to have in mind. Yeah, but if we put everything in one webinar, it will be like 3 hours.
Exactly. So why it's the change, right? This whole thing, because so far what you had the CRM data, customer context, let's say it, right? Who engaged with you, the deal history, pipeline, contact records, what you've signed as a quotes, and that was what you had. But you didn't have this revenue context. So you didn't have the entire history about what customers bought in one place, did they paid, what actually changed the contract. You needed to run through all the different deals to check it. When it comes to the renewals or payments, you didn't have it neither. Now in this whole contracts object, you would have an information about the outstanding payments as well. And it gives much more, I think, opportunities for the expansion signals. So when you have the whole contract in one place, you can connect it to your ERP systems or products, and it's much easier to manage the expansion and potentially churn signals also than when you have this, in deals spread around. So that's really neat that you now would have everything just completely in one place. And now I will explain you how the systems works in just simple words, but demo will for sure give you more clarity. So when you have a first deal and you sign a quote, it just becomes a contract record. So it automatically becomes a contract record with all the information that you had under the deal, meaning what are the line items, what is annual recurring revenue, what is the monthly recurring revenue, total contract value, and everything connected to what was signed. Then you also can connect it to the billing system and automatically issue invoices based on the structured billing schedule. And you can automatically feed in back the data if something was paid or not, if you have it connected to a Stripe automatically. And then also, from the same object, from the same contract, you create changes, meaning upsell, renewals, or even termination from that one particular object. So when you start, for example, signing upsell, downgrade, or some small changes in terms, you just amend it, and it stays under the same exactly contract. You connect the quotes and deals to this, so it's still like the simple same system as you ran before, but there's one place that everything is stored. And whenever you do an upsell or cross-sell, the whole contract information and the change will be also reflected. So suddenly you moved 2K MRR up, or you moved 7K ARR down because you did a downgrade. So everything will be nice and cleanly presented. So if you look at this, right, what you can do, you will have two hubs that you would be functioning, alongside each other. So Sales Hub would still be the place where you run your prospecting, you manage your deals, you measure your performance. And then the Revenue Hub would be the place where you do the quoting, contracts management. You have the visibility into the activity on quotes or contracts. And you can have much more advanced approval flows and stuff around this. So Revenue Hub is not just the contracts, it's also the quoting, the approval process, the bidding system, and everything that is connected to revenue, which is really quite neat. Obviously, there are some AI tools that are now being implemented, but we will not overtalk it because it's yet early stage. I think what is also important for you to know that you might have previously not noticed is that now a quoting system is much more flexible. We will not be speaking too much around this webinar, but you can do much more changes and you can change the quote with your AI assistant. So you can tell to add line items, to change some, change some elements. You can customize it much better. And what was actually previously not possible, and it will be now possible, is that you can have a negative value under the quote and under a deal. So if it's a downgrade, actually it will be reflected as a negative value. And before it was just a positive that had to be deducted as a downsell type. And you can start and you can mix it. So Jacob would do the demo for you in a second, but that's a really big change. Now quotes are much more flexible. And as you can see, HubSpot is getting really more and more advanced in terms of acting as a one ecosystem. So previously Revenue Hub was called Commerce Hub. Now it's called Revenue Hub. So Commerce Hub was mainly connected with the quoting as a separate, thing from Sales Hub. So it was kind of strange that, just for the sake of having quote, you needed to have a Commerce Hub. But now it really turned into something bigger. So it makes sense that it's separated from the Sales Hub. That's what it is right now. Let's go into the demo. So we will show you two things, not to bore you with just talking. We'll show you the contracts object and what is possible there, how generally contracts object is being managed. So Jacob will be your star here. We will talk about upgrades, downgrades, renewals, proration, which is quite nice as well, amendments. And then also Jacob will talk about Revenue Analytics Suite. So how it also transferred into a more advanced module where you automatically, based on the quotes changes, you would already see whether you had a churn, downgrade, or upgrade in your recurring revenue tracking. Pretty neat stuff. I love it. So after Jacob will share with the demo, we'll also share you the implementation tips and architecture, context that we believe is really important for you if you would like to implement it. So Jacob Arino, stage is yours. No more talking.
Thank you, Przemek. Thank you, Romeo. For those who need to see that, to believe that it's going to happen and it's going to materialize and you'll have it out of the box in HubSpot, let me show you that. And let me take over the screen. Screen sharing. This one. So I created a couple of examples for you and a couple of scenarios. Just hide that.
Try to share this. Yeah, let me put it for you on the screen. Here. Okay, 1 sec. Focus. It's on. Okay, now you can see the screen. I will try to put your face also, but unfortunately I cannot. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm not the most important here in this screen sharing. So good. Let's start. So as Przemek outlined, like this is the contract object. Like in HubSpot, you have all the information available at hand about the line items, about like recurring values, annual, monthly, total contract values, associations, of course, the activity history. But how to get that? Get to that point. Let's start. It all starts with a deal. So the flow is as it used to be, where you have a deal. Sales rep is opening an opportunity after qualification, and they work with the line item. So I go to my deal. I add line items to generate a quote, to generate a proposal for a customer. All right. Pro tip, new thing around Revenue Hub. There is something called price books where you could kind of segment your product catalog. So let's go for an enterprise where we have also like pre-selected items available for sales reps, as well as you can customize the pricing for within a specific price book. All right, but we focus on adding. Let's create a deal. Another side note, Przemek mentioned that Revenue Hub is going to be open and go more into AI. Recently, HubSpot also released like a connector with Claude, so you can generate a quote directly from Claude through LLMs. So just like a chat mode, you just like state what kind of line items you want to add, what kind of conditions, and so on and so on. Okay, let's go for I just select let's have advanced analytics, API integrations. We'll go for that can be a platform pro. Let's add some seats. That would be here. We want to have a priority support as well. All right, and implementation enterprise. This is like one-time implementation fee. It's not a recurring revenue. Okay, just adding that to add also the term. So that would be 24 months. Let's go for everything for 24 months. This one. All right. So if I save that, I will be now ready to generate a quote. Right, so let's create a quote. I have just one. I have a couple of templates. Let's go for this one. Starting. All right, and a bit of AI flavor. You can generate the content here directly also with AI. So let's say, let's add ask an assistant. And it loads. Assistant, who's that? Hey. Oh. Okay, it will generate a cover letter for us. In the meantime, we'll set up the rest of the stuff. So the effective date, let's say it will be on agreement, meaning like if we accept that today, it will be effective as of today. That's fine. So the revenues will be attributed to June already. Just to make it faster, I'll just will not require the e-signature. Of course, e-signature is natively supported here with Dropbox sign. And yeah, do we have a cover letter? Yes. So Alexander will be greeted here in that. You can just customize the quote flavor and through LLM, and I'm going to share the quote. Of course, you can send it directly from HubSpot here as a message, or you can copy the link and send it in your message separately. So just click here to accept the quote. So now we have a deal that is open. We have a quote that is ready, that is published and ready to be signed. What I have not covered is the possibility of having the approval flow around quoting. This is also possible within Revenue Hub advanced approvals, multi-step approvals. But
one question, Jakub, from Beata. She was saying that they do a lot of custom solutions, right? Like most probably something like software houses, right? Beata, maybe you can put it in. And in that case, like, how do you deal with the line items? Because I suppose you need to put products, right? Like for each and everything, you can need to put products. And yeah, she's saying that is useless for her company as everything is custom. Yeah, it's like a software house use case in which we worked quite a lot, right? Like maybe at Unit 8, you had a similar situation. How is it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can either have within the CRM, you have the products and the product catalog where you have a predefined list of items that you can add to a deal. But of course, you can always, this can be restricted for sales if you don't want to do that. But you can create a custom line item. So it's like a custom one that's where you add some description, just you specify whether it's like what's the billing frequency, what's the how that we know that is again for 24 months, and what's the price.
The pricing model is also there.
Yeah, so it's like 99999. It's like if you have like a value-based pricing, for instance, you go for that quantity, and you just save it, right? I save it, I'll update the deal amount. What will change after I accept the quote, it will eventually delete the custom item because it was not in the quote that was accepted. So during that signature of the quote, only those HubSpot updates the line items and reflects only the ones that are included in the code, right?
So how do you deal with situations where what Beata is saying, where you have like as many products as deals, right? So the assumption is that you need to create for each deal that many products, right?
That's true. Either you have let's say a general placeholder that let's say customer a product category that it's integrations, and then you specify in the code itself what the integration means, or here you can edit and add the description. This is integration with Dynamics, and just save it, and then that would be included in the quote itself.
Okay, and Alex is also saying here that you can create custom line items for each deal without saving them. So thanks a lot.
Exactly. So whatever you add here, you change the term, you change the description here as editing. You add a custom line item. It's only applicable to that specific deal and the quote that you generate out of that. All of those values, when the prices, the billing frequency, the term as well, can be like any custom properties that would be like product families. They are all like default values that you can override. Of course, you can restrict like changes to those specific fields to the sales reps if necessary. But everything, custom deal-specific line items, it's applicable only to those. Therefore, very often we have a kind of a general placeholder for a type of a product that is like, for us, it would be like revenue as a service, RevOps as a service, which is like a very broad topic and broad product that we then specify within the quote. When you generate the quote, you can add the terms, or you can add the custom section easily. Just drag and drop to where you specify what is included in the scope, what are the terms, and
Cool. And I will show later also the public roadmap, because we have some more things coming up, but that's good, Jakub. Yeah, you can continue.
Yep.
Sorry.
Good. So we have this deal. Let me accept the quote. And if we go back, it's accepted. If we go back to deal, okay, we'll just leave it. That, like in the previous word before the Revenue Hub, that was kind of the end of the journey, unless you had some handovers to customer success, implementation team, account management, accounting system. That was there was a hiccup in the process. Right now, what you have a quote that is accepted with the status. You have line items. You have all the revenue metrics that are around that. So annual recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue, that are on a deal. This is what we had. But look at what is new. We have a new object is called contract, and it's where you accommodate all the history about the quotes, the deals, the changes, the renewals. So if we go to that deal, the contract, sorry, we have everything in one place. So we have a total contract value, annual contract value. We know when the contract ends. What are the line items, current and then upcoming. So upcoming that you will have that are scheduled to start to be built in future. All line items. So if certain line items expired, then they would be included in that list as well. You have, if you have the payment connected with the contract, you will have billing schedules as well as the invoices also here in the contract object. And there is a section about renewal, so you know when the renewal is coming, what's the date, and whether you have the renewal associated with that given contract and it was renewed. So that was a new deal. We have a new contract. The account management team actually, and customer success team, whatever we call them, they can just work from either from companies, but on the companies they will have all of those contracts, or from the contract objects where they are assigned as owners, where they can see the status of the contract. Scheduled means that it still has to start. The start date is on August the 4th. Something was terminated. Something can also expired. So different statuses. One place for customer success team to work on renewals, upsells, cross sells, churn, downsells as well. Good. All right, so let's say this was a handover from sales. Let's now go to some quote changes. So we have a deal, or we have a contract with Halcyon Grid Logistics that has right now a platform starter. They have 10 seats in total. I'm looking at the line items. So it's much more of them. There's an advanced analytics. So let's say we want to make some changes in that quote, in that contract, and the customer is growing to become an enterprise. So it's simple as creating a change quote. So you either make it here or through actions. There's a change quote. So let's make a change quote. Let's copy that. So we have a consistent naming. I can either associate that with an existing deal, or I need to create a new one. So let's create a new one. There's an upgrade already because I upgraded that contract for the sake of the data, sample data. Upgrade 2. So we select the expansion pipeline. What is interesting? The contracts support different currencies. So you can, if you are a global or international company, you can have a contract in euro with another customer, contract in pounds, or even with a single customer, you can have contracts in different currencies. The case is that, or the only limitation is that you need to have a contract. To have a contract in a single currency. If you need to have another one, just create another one. Let's add associate Helen to the deal, and we go for the company. Right. Create. All right, we have a deal created. Now it's when the change is going to, what's the effective date of that upgrade. Say so it's 30th of June. I can prorate changes, so meaning if the change happens mid-term, mid-month, then you would kind of calculate the part of the month and include in the billing and MRR. or you just start from changes will take effect on the next billing date. So let's have it like prorated. So I'm going to create a quote. So the experience is pretty the same, but with some exception or like advancement versus previous flow. So thanks to that, thanks to having everything in one, contract, you have the full history of what items were included in the contract already. So you are literally amending the contract that you had before. So let me just hide. We don't want a cover letter for now. It will pull all the line items that you had before, and you can make changes. So, for instance, instead of 15 seats, we are going to have 30 seats. On the quote, you see like what's the change. You see that's changed. Let's go. Okay, customer is growing into enterprise. Select from product library. So we are going to Platform Pro. They had a starter, so we are going to have a upgrade them to Pro, and we can cancel given line items. So we are like canceling this one, and they will migrate on to a Pro. And let's add some additional, create select from product library. Let's go. They will have what they can have some data volume pack as well added as a new item. All right, so we have it. All the changes summarized. You see what's the effect on the total contract value. I'm going to save that. You see, whatever is like removed, it's crossed out, clearly visible to customer that what is going to be canceled from the contract, what is going to be net new added to the contract or changed. So I'm going to add the missing this one, and I still need to add expiration date for the quote. Let's say the quote expires today. So I'm going to sure.
And also we have there is a possibility of having the custom module, right? So you could make your own templates of these quotes, right? And in the future add also modules like videos or pitch decks or anything next to it. So it's not only the quote itself. If you have some more reassurances or Q&A and stuff like that, that could be added if the experience will be online, not with the PDF. Depends on how you sell, right? So that deal hub, deal desk type of experience is moved now to the quote. So people can have that. So maybe you have testimonials and so on.
Yes, that's correct. Custom modules, it's all about like drag and drop experience versus custom development, what you had before. And what is also I think new in the new quoting module, you can attach the attachments like files, and you can mark them as e-signing, meaning like they would be e-signed along with the quote. So and any additional like scope of work PDFs that accompany the quote itself, if they are not included those details in the quote itself, you can attach that, and that will be signed as well. Accept a quote. Good. And if I go back to Halcyon grid and refresh the page, it's signed, quote accepted. Good, we have it. So now I have everything in here: platform starter, user seats, all the things added with the information. What's the term? Like this is a prorated, so you can see like what's the kind of a impact or net price specifically for that specific period, and then you have this is actually like indefinite contract until you cancel. So there's no like fixed then. But then also go to activities. Like in every HubSpot record, you have the history of activities associated with that record. But then history of the contract itself. all the changes here. So you had an initial deal. Then we had a change where customer added some seats, and then we had the change that we just processed, which is an upgrade into the enterprise.
Perfect.
Good. And then what else? The next scenario, we have a renewal. Let's just cross-check which renewal deal I had for you. Seller flow. Yes, it's this one. So we know that the seller flow is expiring in roughly a month from now. So let's create a quote, or like let's renew that deal. It's the experience is the same. You manage everything from here. Create a renewal quote. So I'm going to let me just copy that. Create renewal quote. Experience is the same. Renewal. Oh, sorry. It's contract. We don't have the new deal. We don't have it yet.
You can also, just as an additional note, you can also, because oftentimes you start with creating a deal at the beginning, right? Because you see an opportunity, you qualify it. So you can also connect it to an existing deal. You don't need to create it from this module. You can just naturally have an upsell or cross-sell deal open. And whenever you have a moment that you want to send a quote and a proposal to a customer, you just do a change quote and connect it to this particular deal that you already have.
Yep. Also, there is an option that you generate a quote first, and then that creates a deal. There is also such an option in the settings.
Oh, that's great.
So, experience is like vice versa. You initiate the quote first, and then the deal would be automatically created for you. Yeah. Okay. So there is no effective date, because the effective date would be the renewal date. There was a problem creating a renewal quote. That's interesting.
But before we go into next things, I just want to understand how many of you are actually tracking this revenue in your CRM, having reports, doing all these things. It'd be good to just understand, right? Because CFOs usually love it. Just pop in your questions, and I want to get some space for Q&A if it's possible, and then the public roadmap. So that's good. Like till now, everybody is doing it. So that means that it's something that it's already working, which is great. Some don't, but we are on a good track here. If you track it, it's awesome. We'll just stop this for now.
Sorry, I just selected the wrong currency, because the currency is Polish zloty for this specific contract, and I selected euro for this deal. Let me just update that quickly. It will be able to process.
Good. So you can change it then.
Yeah. Okay. This one.
That's a good maybe feedback for the product team, that whenever, because now you didn't know that this was the error, right? Like you just figured it out. You didn't know that there was a conflict in the currencies, right?
Yeah, and then later when I tried to associate an existing deal with a contract, it showed me, oh, there's a mismatch in the currency, but it was not visible at initially. Good. So we keep the same as we have. The billing start will be 29th of July 2026. No changes. Or why not? Let's add some additional line items. Edit all line items. So let's add some seats. So instead of 1 seat, they will go for 10 seats. Then we need to add the designer. Sure.
Okay.
And we'll find accept. So if we go back to our contract, we'll notice that the renewal that was due, you will get some fireworks and confetti. Yeah, we have a renewal contract accepted with a new renewal, and then you can HubSpot creates a new contract for out of that renewal. So this one is will be active until the contract end date, but we have already need the new one that is associated and linked from the original contract, and you can see that it's scheduled, so it's secured and just waiting for us to for the due date. Yeah, exactly. Good. And the fourth one, the last scenario I wanted to show you are the terminations. Let me just cross check. It's Crest terminate Crest Craft Systems. Yes. So the last one.
I think you can, Jacob, keep it short and then show reporting, because I think reporting is essential.
It's the last scenario I want to show you. So it's super simple. We have a churn request, or we want to terminate, and the first time I can terminate when not change. Okay. So it's for some reason it's not drafted. Right. Sorry, just created a lot of those. Or maybe we can just terminate something that was that we had.
Okay, so till you do it,
I'm going to terminate this one about something in future with a date in future. Okay, they changed their mind actually on the first of. So we schedule termination, and the contract is closed, or like we'll terminate on the contract end date that we have just specified. So it's just one click to terminate. I can go to reporting.
Okay, so the termination happens here also, right? In minus.
Right, exactly. So there are you can analyze the revenues in 4 angles in HubSpot right now. That is like MRR, where you have a breakdown by the new business, upgrades, downgrades, and churn. So like a new business, you can see that it's here. It's probably this deal that we just signed today. Maybe some more, but this is under new business. When it comes to churn, you have it here in July. It may not have refreshed yet for September, but it will show also here for September that we have a churn. But another deal is scheduled to churn on the 1st of July. So you see a negatives here. You have renewals, all broken down by MRR movements. The revenue here is reported when it becomes effective. So it's by when it becomes effective, and it's by revenue month. So all broken down like here, like you have a full overview, full time history, and this is like a grind breaker. Previously, you had a revenue allocated to the close date. Or you just track like, but you did not have like a full waterfall and breakdown by the revenue types, MRR types across the time and the revenue months. So that's one view. The second view is net new. So ignoring existing business. So any specific changes that are by the effective date. So new business, upgrades, downgrades, churns, and renewals. So gains from the new business are offset by downgrades and churn. So like in this case, in total we have a 2,752 euro MRR because of a churn that we have scheduled in July. Also, you have two views that is booked, slightly different view. It's like by booked MRR. So revenue is reported when the contract is booked. So regardless when the contract is effective, but when kind of the sales happen. So not new from sales.
It's great for forecasting, right?
Exactly. And the last view is similar one, but focusing on total contract value. So right now you have this MRR and TCV views, perspectives in the charts. I know that the product team in HubSpot they work on annual contract value, annual recurring revenue as well to be added in the revenue analytics. And yeah, those 4 views give you a really nice picture onto what's the health of your business, how you are growing, how you're upselling and cross-selling, and there are some other views in the Revenue Hub, but they are more about
That's great.
About the quotes.
That's great. I think this is the tip of the iceberg because there are much more stuff coming in. Just want to go very fast before the QA on the Revenue Hub public roadmap. Obviously, the legal stuff based on this don't invest basically. 2 things: product roadmap on CPQ, and I will show you also the billing payments. So what's exciting here, you can read it, but you will have PDFs, so you could migrate your own PDFs to be converted into those quote templates. So if you're already using something, you will be able to do that in the future. The brands and quotes, it's obvious. There was a question also about editing. You will be able to do that. You have the ramp pricing, like scheduled pricing that will increase. This is like asked a lot, and the price books and the product bundles, which is also there, and MCP and CLI. Like if you're doing something dynamically, that's also amazing to have it there. And what's being planned is the AI generated line items, the negative line items, that it's already there, and having that calculated pricing. That's another quite interesting part. I don't want to bore you with this, but just let's go a little bit to the billing and payments, because this is something that we talked about also. So having revenue agents, leveraging the billing and payments, again, payment links API, this will be the one that everybody is waiting for, because now you will have, maybe in the future pay with Blick, which again, it's something that people are waiting for. Now it's HubSpot payments and bring your own API with Stripe. So you have that. The other things that it's in there, it's e-invoicing. So you will be able to send e-invoicing, which is all regulated in the EU, and they are rolling out countries. Poland is in the next rollout, and you have a lot of it's this part here. You will have buy now, pay later for some cases, like Klarna type of things. So, and automated VAT and so on. So this is something that if you have more questions, drop me. Here is my WhatsApp or my email with L at the end. I know that I misspelled that. This proves that I didn't do it with AI, right? If you do misspelling, that's what's the situation. Okay, so that was the presentation. Let's go now into the more part of questions, right? Because there were some questions here, actually few of them. Maybe I missed some, but yeah. Let me see.
I can also maybe
I will go with this first. Sorry, Przemek, just to push the questions. Is there a possibility, this is from Hubert, to customize the design? Yeah, we talked about this. Jakob, few minutes on this. Maybe you have the answer.
Yeah, so it's definitely possible to customize this design. You have you can create a number of custom templates, and it's drag and dropped with custom modules that you can also develop that would work as a smart content, more like a smart content and then dynamically render for specific quotes itself.
Perfect.
HubSpot
So
even
no
now has a
developers and tens of hours to create a one template like in the past. Now it's all drag and drop, and you can create it
Thank
in
you.
5 minutes.
Let's go next. So this is Alex. So we created custom properties like ARR, MRR, total contract value within line items to accommodate for non 12, 24 months. Yeah. Would the Revenue Hub reporting work for those custom properties too? This is the question. Or do we need to use HubSpot native ARR, MRR properties in revenue analytics? So what's your answer to that?
So natively, it's ARR, MRR properties to be supported, but given the product feature that Romeo mentioned, where you will have like a formula-based calculation for the unit prices, you will be able to.
But I think that's more of a Frankenstein way of doing it, right? Like you always want to make sure that is native, because then whenever you want to do an integration.
But how to, when it comes to how to calculate, if the MRR, ARR calculation is somehow calculated in a custom way for the unit prices that you have eventually on a quote, then with that new feature, it may potentially address the how you calculate.
The question is, if you calculate that other properties, is it in the revenue analytics or not?
Nah, as far as at the moment, it's the native properties are required.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say, that it's better to have it natively for you. Also, if you want to use the APIs in the future, maybe you integrate it with accounting tools or anything else, or maybe BI tools or other things that you might want to have, it's better to have it in those properties. So another one here, it's, would contracts work with just line items without using quotes?
Technically, the contract is generated on quote accepted, but you can always create. There's a beta feature or alpha feature that allows you to create a contract manually, where you add the line items. So you can kind of transfer that.
So currently, Jacob, I think it's the situation that from what we see from the interface, you cannot edit line items from the contract objects so far. You need to do it via change quote. But maybe with this new manual functionality of importing contracts by hand, maybe this could also be enabled, that you can change the line items on contracts. By so far, it's not. There is no such a button or functionality that we could find to do it without a quote.
Yeah,
but I think that should be added, and it's a good point, because you might have a different quoting system. So you might have that line items, just the contracts.
Maybe I can add to it, because the order function, so something that lives between a quote and the contract is the order. So what's the change? And maybe if, what they want to do is also enable API for this. So maybe through the external system PandaDoc, if you would be able to push the order, meaning the line items to contracts, then you can connect it or manually add it. But that's more of a, I feel, future, but it's interesting. We would investigate it for sure.
Yes, I think there is something like this already. Okay, cool. Thank you. So, what the Vincent had another question here. Our monthly billing for a line item is dependent on service delivered each month. How can I implement different billing amounts for the same line item for each month? Do I have to create separate line items? If not, each month should be billed the same amount. Let it sink in. I read it also for the AI transcription. I know that you guys could read it.
That's basically a usage-based scenario where you would like to have a dynamic billing per each month based on the usage or whatever else dynamically. I'm not sure currently how it could be facilitated, if we would be honest, but that's something that is on our roadmap also to develop. So currently, this new module is for sure most, advanced in terms of a typical recurring revenue, and maybe even non-recurring. But the usage-based model, I would need to lean more towards Kuba, and probably there are options for custom integrations on the usage base, where you basically feed in your data from ERP or external systems, and you have a custom object that builds this usage-based month to month. But this is a workaround that it's besides the Revenue Hub. This is how generally it was dealt with HubSpot via custom objects so far. With new Revenue Hub, it's not yet clear.
Thank you. Okay, so let me add the next question. Simple one. Is the Revenue Hub, is it part of enterprise, or it's a different, I suppose the question is sales enterprise? It's a different module, it's a different hub. Like it was Commerce Hub, so you need to buy it. And Commerce Hub rebranded into Revenue Hub. So it's part of that product. Hope it answers your question. From Christian, what about the reporting? How can we report revenue changes and, for example, revenue for the renewal this year? Jacob.
How can we report changes? So I hope that if that what I showed does not cover what you have, is like you will have you can customize the filtering for the reporting on, just to show on the chart. You can plot the revenues for a specific contract for filtering. And revenue changes also through, if you make some code changes, change code, then that would be also reflected, whether it's like upgrade or downgrade before the renewal.
To add on this, because I think that's interesting. So basically, you would have an entire year as a period that you wanna check, and you have it month by month, but also you have the total numbers above it for the reporting. So you would see a total change in upgrade, total change in downgrade for this particular year that happened. And also what you're asking, like a renewal you would also see net new revenue. You would see renewals that are net positive, and you would only see the positive value above the renewal. So that's also what you would see as well on this monthly chart, annual chart. I hope it helps.
Perfect. Things are getting heated, guys, so keep up, please. We only use deals with products coming from a custom field and with no line items. We see this a lot. How can I move to this new system with my historical data? Good question, Kuba. Bravo. The question would be, if this exists somewhere else besides those custom fields, but it could be exported, right? Like they are just values, I suppose. If you use custom fields, most probably they are values. Anybody else? Jakub,
I would recommend migrating to the line items, definitely, because then you have a much more like advanced analytics by product, by line item, and track the changes on specific product or specific items. How can you move to the new system? It's through like mass import, mass migrating exporting those contracts, like these custom properties, and creating like a file.
There is CSV, right?
Yeah, there is a possibility to you either create a line item on those deals, or you also historically, or you just import the contracts directly through CSV file as a kind of a current date ARR or MRR, and then from now on you just move on with the tracking the revenues through contracts and line items.
Okay. That's good. That's good. We are still on. So the question is this one also from Kuba. Do templates accept HTML? Yes, like it's HTML, CSS. That's how the custom modules and JS. That's how you do the custom modules. And so yeah, you can build them and do it, but not like, because they are module based. So you need to have access to the designer, and then you create the custom modules and the templates, and then you can use it. So when you create the custom modules, yes, you use HTML, CSS, and JS, and then that module is available, and then you just drag and drop it. So that's how it works. It's not like embed HTML.
Romeo, maybe when we collect new questions, we can go to the slides on lessons learned. So I can also give you some guidance, guys. When you want to move to a new contract subject, what are the lessons that we already had from the experience so far? So from the architecture perspective, what you have to have in mind, that's generally one contract is a one currency. So if you have multi-currency, usually it requires having a separate contracts for these separate currencies. Co-terming is quite of a, maybe not a challenge, but it's still something that we are figuring out how to do best. Meaning if you do a cross-sell and you want to co-term your current new line items with the current line items, it's not always as easy, especially if you have a fixed product terms. Negative values are now possible, so this is pretty cool. And how reporting works, just for your understanding. If a quote is a change quote and it's a positive, it's upgrade. If it's negative, it's downgrade. It's simple as that, right? If renewal is, if a change is a renewal, it's treated as renewal. If you create a completely new contract, it's treated as a new business. And it automatically happens, so we don't need to, change the deal types whatsoever. It doesn't matter even what kind of a deal type you have. It works basically mechanically based on the change code that is there. And if you wanna, if you have an ERP and financial system, it's important that you align the architecture, how you do contracts with how you log them in your ERP or finance system, so to be coherent. And then when it comes to implementation, if you have thousands of subscriptions, that's the first challenge that you will face, right? How to push every historical subscription data about your customers or contracts, maybe not always subscription, but contracts, into your current systems. Because when you want to do a change, right, you need to have a contract that you change on. And imagine you have thousands of them. So there are ways to deal with this, because you can do it with mass upload via CSV file, and we can restructure the columns in the file to match it how is it in HubSpot, and import everything in bulk. So that's possible, but that's something that you have to have in mind. That might be your first challenge to actually move to a completely new process. And just be sure to test every scenario that you would like to run. So if you want to have a change quote and you need to cancel, edit, co-term, just list all the scenarios that you would like to have facilitated through this new functionality, and check whether it works for you. It's available. You can ask your web to have a test Revenue Hub for a month, and you can test everything, whether it works for you. Same with the reporting, right? When you do those scenarios, check if it actually reports the way you would like to report. Cool. I hope it helped you guys to also move to a new process.
Great, thanks a lot. So we had a lot of stuff. If you have more questions, please send me an email. We will do some kind of workbook and also a PDF where you have the main bullet points of what we have discussed here. AI also can do this transcription with the questions and TLDR. So we send it over. We have all stay tuned for all the other webinars that we do. In September, we will do one even more detailed with also the guys from Revenue Hub, and also we bring more use cases for you so you can prepare your questions and just think about your businesses. If you have any more need, let me know. We can fix this. And it's very exciting. We are on top of this. This is our bread and butter. So more use cases, more we learn together, and we fix the whole revenue context. Thanks a lot, guys. And we are in touch. See you emails and on LinkedIn. Take care.